It's not quite so obvious from a bird's eye view, but as soon as you start diving into the lore of Elden Ring, you soon realize how important dragons are within this world, and other than the demigods the game is based around, they just may be the most important beings to ever inhabit the lands between. And honestly, is that even a surprise given that this is a Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin collab? Of course dragons are going to play a major role in the lore. A neat trait that we learn dragons have through the description of Lansseax's glaive is that they can take human form. Lansseax did this in order to commune with the knights as a priestess for the dragon cult. The capital's dragon cult was established after Godwyn defeated Fortissaxx in the War of the Ancient Dragons. Instead of their feud continuing in perpetuity, they became friends and the dragons shared the way of their lightning. Among the various knights, there was one who stood above the rest, it seems. One who was closest to claiming the throne of Elden Lord, and that was Vike. Through Vike's Dragon Bolt, we learned that, of all knights, Vike the Dragon Spear was the one Lansseax loved the most. And with this, we now have a door to a world where humans and dragons are not only allies, but one where they can also love one another. Now, personally, I still think that Lansseax and Godwyn were a thing before Vike, and if you haven't seen my video on everything dragons in Elden Ring, I dig more into that idea here. But basically, the timeline matches up as we can assume Godwyn died before Vike even became relevant, as the cycle of the Tarnished seeking the throne of Elden Lord would not have happened until after the Elden Ring was shattered, aka after the Night of the Black Knives, aka the night of Godwyn's physical death.
Mighty dragon, thou the true-born heir. Lend me thy strength, O kindred. Deliver me unto greater heights. Well. Lowly tarnished. Plain as a lord. I command thee, kneel! I am the lord of all that is golden.
We know Godrick is a descendant of Godwyn, and Godrick refers to dragons as kindred or family. This is just another link we can make as further proof to Godwyn having children with dragons. Whether or not Godwyn had a dragon lover is not really up for debate in my mind. I think that much is, dare I say, set in stone. However, who his dragon lover is still has people asking questions. If Lansseax did not have dragon babies with Godwyn, then the other likely candidate is Fortissaxx, and today we're going to explore the theory, using in-game evidence, that Fia the Deathbed Companion may in fact be Fortissax's human form. Now, the game does a good job of leaving this idea pretty ambiguous, as Lansseax is the only ancient dragon with the -ax suffix, which is the feminine suffix in Latin, and the Lansseax glaive description also confirms this by referring to Lansseax as sister of Fortissaxx and a priestess. Fortissaxx, however, is only ever referred to as it, and ignoring the more masculine suffix in the name, the descriptions we get in-game leave the relationship between Godwyn and Fortissaxx pretty ambiguous as well. As we saw earlier with the lightning spear, Godwyn was said to have befriended Fortissaxx. Now let's take a look at Remembrance of the Lichdragon though. It says, after Godwyn the Golden became Prince of Death, the ancient dragon fought long and hard against death within its companion. Alas, victory was never achieved, and its only reward was corruption. As we see here, their relationship status has officially been upgraded to Companion, a status that is also part of Fia's title, and it's such that Fortissaxx was willing to take on death itself in order to help save Godwyn. Something I originally theorized as a sacrifice for its sister Lansseax to save her lover, but as so many of you have brought up, the sacrifice may have been through Fortissax's own love for Godwyn. Now let's take a look more specifically into the idea that Fortissaxx may actually be Fia, and we'll start by getting some obvious ideas out of the way. First, Fia is comprised of letters that are within the spelling of Fortissaxx, F-I-A. User Zedkines in the comments made the connection to Raya, who you meet on your journey to Volcano Manor, as actually being Zoraya's, when in her natural serpent-like state. Another super obvious one is the connection both have with Godwyn, and both are companions of some sort to the demigod. Another indicator is how you encounter Fortissaxx, literally through the Deathbed Dream, which can only be accessed by completing Fia's quest line and giving her the completed curse mark of death. But why is Fia dreaming of Fortissaxx? As far as we know, she should have nothing to do with the ancient dragon. The most popular idea here that I would personally agree with is that you are fighting a memory of Fia's former self. A memory of Fia at full power before her death to be reawakened as a tarnished. One would assume that to be corrupted with death, as Fortissaxx was, would likely drain one of its life force and eventually lead to an actual death. Also take note that after you defeat Fortissaxx, Fia is in an unresponsive state, but has succeeded in birthing the mending rune of the Death Prince. Were you finally able to put her at peace for a long slumber? Now let's get speculative and dig into some of Fia's own dialogue from early in the game. When you first select to talk in secret with Fia, she says the following.
After I received the warmth and lively vigor from a number of champions, I lay with the remains of an exalted noble. To grant him another chance at life, to do so is the purpose of my being. But before I could bear the noble into new life, I was awakened by the guidance of grace and chased from my birthplace. Pray, be kind. Despite all that, I still wish to be a deathbed companion.
Exalted noble? Well, after Dee's death, Fia says this.
Finally, it is returned to its rightful place. The stolen hallowbrand of the exalted noble. And now, I must bid you goodbye as well, though I ask you deliver this message to the Round Table Hold. I am Fia, Deathbed Companion. Hark, Round Table. Disturb not the death of Godwyn, the exalted. We who humbly live in death, live in waiting, to one day welcome our Lord.
If we connect these dots, we can say that the initial exalted noble Fia lay with in her birthplace before grace called for ye tarnished to cross the fog and seek the title of Elden Lord was none other than Mr. Golden Boy himself, Godwyn. During this time period, however, Fia was at full power and able to transform between Fortissaxx and the human form Fia at will. This is how the golden lineage consisting of Godfrey and Godrick is able to continue, and why Godrick considers dragons to be family. Now that Fortissaxx has been resurrected by grace as Fia, her only possibility of saving Godwyn would be to become a deathbed companion and allow Godwyn to, quote, take his rightful place as first of the dead and claim a second, illustrious life. Something that she is able to succeed in doing by tempting you thirsty tarnished at the beginning of each new cycle with a little bit of skin to skin and some pleasantries. So what do you think? Is Fia actually Fortissaxx? Are these two separate beings altogether? Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts on this theory are, or if you have any other lore questions that you want explored further. As always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, as that helps immensely. Welcome to any new friends that may be stopping by. If you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing for more weekly videos. I stream every night over at twitch.tv/precision if you ever want to come hang out or speculate live with me. I cannot thank you enough for your support on these videos. I'm continuing to have a blast making them, and I'm excited to see what secrets we uncover in the future. That is all for me today. I hope your playthroughs are going amazingly, and I'll see you in the next one.